Hey there, my name is Livi and today I'm going to show you how I made this wonderful flower coaster and also how to change the rounded edges into pointed edges to make it into a more sunflower based pattern. It's very versatile and it makes these beautiful coasters that you can make in any colour that you want. To do this, I'm using a 4.5mm hook. Mine is from Clover, but all crochet hooks are valid, so please use as many as you want. I would also recommend, if you have trouble with your tension, that you can use these tension rings. I did get mine off Amazon, screw you Jeff Bezos. Stitch markers can be really helpful as well if you're just starting out, and darning needles. The bigger the hole, the better the needle. That's not an innuendo, it's just the truth. I like the purple ones personally. Okay, let's get started. I'm using acrylic yarn today. I would recommend cotton, but acrylic comes in more colours. We're going to start with our yellow. Now start with a slip knot. I'm showing you how to do that right here. And pop it onto your hook. We're going to start with a chain 4 to create a bit of a DIY magic ring. So chain 4 and 4. Then pop your hook into your first chain and perform a slip stitch. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and then just pull it through. Okay? And our circle is not this big space that we can see here. Our circle is one little bit of yarn underneath that, which you can see a little bit clearly in the video here. Chain 2, this does not count as a stitch, and into that middle circle, as you can see me pop my hook into here, we're going to work 12 double crochets. You can see me doing that here. This is the first one. Taking it nice and slow today. That's our first double crochet. If you are new, please use your stitch marker. I don't always use them, but I will tell you where to move them. So pop your stitch marker into that first one, and then we need 11 more double crochets to complete this round. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Repeating that all the way, double crochets, 12 in total. And we're just keeping on going here. Please enjoy my voiceover that I do post-recording. Okay, now that we're back at the beginning, we will now slip stitch like we did before into our first double crochet from the round. So the one that is marked with your stitch marker if you've been good. Pop it through, yarn, insert, and there we go. Slip stitch done. Chain 2. We're going to do increases all the way around for this one. And if you pull on that center yarn there, it'll make a nice smaller gap for you there. Now, we're going to work increases, and these are all double crochets again. So into the same stitch that you chained, work 1 double crochet, move your stitch marker, and work a second double crochet into that same stitch, because this is an increase, which means 2 stitches in one place for this pattern. So make sure that you pop that stitch marker into the first double crochet of the round, not the chain 2, please. You can see the difference because you can see the V's on the very top of those stitches. So yet again, we're going to go into the next stitch now, and we're going to do 2 double crochets into every single stitch around. That's going to increase the size of our little center here, but it is also going to keep it relatively flat. Okay? And then I've sped this up. Didn't really plan what I was going to say here, so here we go. Just an increase in every single stitch. Okay, now that we've done that, we are going to slip stitch into that first double crochet of our round, not the chain 2, which is why we need to use our stitch markers. Slip stitch, like so, chain 1, and fasten off. By fasten off, I mean cut that yarn and use your hook to just pull it all the way through, and it will make a little knot for you. Nice. Okay, I'll stop being sarcastic now if I can. You can now take out your stitch marker because we are now done with this yellow yarn. But grab your your next colour. I'm using purple because I bloody love that colour. We're going to make a slip knot and then pop that onto the hook. Then you can attach into any stitch of the round that you want to. You'll see I chose a random one as well. I like to go just before where we fastened off because that'll help us to hide the ends. But we are going to attach it with a slip stitch. So there's the 2 loops on the hook, pull that second one through that first one and chain 1. We're going to do petals next, and our petals are over 4 stitches. Okay, so into that same stitch that we chained up on and we attached, we're performing a single crochet. In the next stitch, well, add your stitch marker, go for it. I don't do this later in the video because I forget, because I don't really need them anymore, but they are a very useful little tool. So single crochet, into the next stitch we're going to do 2 double crochets, so that's an increase. So there's 1, then we're going to work our second one into the same stitch to form our increase, that's 2 double crochets. And into the next stitch we're going to work another 2 double crochets again. Once you've done that second increase, we're going to do a single crochet into the next stitch right there. I'm finding it hard to put my hook in. This is just because it's the same one that is a slip stitch. We're all good though. Here we go. Well, we were all good until I lost it. There we go. Single crochet. Okay? So then to repeat this, we're going to show it again. Okay? So our next petal, we start again. Yes, we did a single crochet at the end of the last one, but we're doing another one here. So single crochet, because we're repeating the pattern, then 2 double crochets into the same stitch, and our second one into the next stitch, an increase, which is 2 double crochets, woohoo! And then we're going to do a single crochet into that next stitch across. We're repeating that pattern all the way around. So I think I show you it once more. Single crochet, double crochet increase, that's 1 and 2, and then again double crochet increase. So there's 1, there's 2, and then a single crochet. And that's our pattern. Once we've done all of that, we can now move on to the next round. So slip stitch, chain 1 as always, and then single crochet into the same space that you chained. Single crochet. Petals are now a bit bigger because we did an increase. So our next stitch after the single is going to be 1 double crochet into the next stitch. Then into the next stitch, we do 2 doubles. That's an increase again. So there's 1 and there's 2 for our first increase of this round. Our next stitch is another double crochet increase. They're always in the center of the petals. Then 1 double crochet into the next stitch. Here we go. And then a single crochet. That's our pattern. So to show you that again, because we're doing that all the way around, single crochet. Oh, I ran out of yarn, needed to pull a bit more out. Single crochet, 1 double crochet, double crochet increase, which is 2 double crochets into the same stitch, a second double crochet increase, that's two double crochets, sorry, into the next stitch, one double crochet into the next, and then a single crochet to finish off. And we're repeating that all the way around. And then once we've got to the very end, we are going to slip stitch into our first single crochet of our round. Helps if you mark it, but obviously I didn't here, as you can see. Okie dokie. Then we are going to chain one, and we're going to do a single crochet again into the same stitch that we chained up on. There we go. And then, because we've increased in the previous round, we do one double crochet into this next stitch, and one double crochet into the next stitch, an increase double crochet into the next, that's two double crochets into this next stitch, there's one, same stitch, there's two. Next stitch is two double crochets again for an increase, there's one, same stitch, there's two, and then we're going to do in the next stitch a double crochet, like so, and another double crochet into the next stitch, and then a single crochet to finish that petal. And we're going to do that all the way around again, okay? So single crochet, one double, one double, two double crochets into the same stitch, and then two double crochets into this stitch again. For another increase, one double crochet, one double crochet into the next stitch, and then a single. I sped up a bit too quickly there, but we get the gist. Okay, repeating that all the way around. Woohoo! Then, here we are. We're going to do a slip stitch into our first single crochet of our round. Wow, Livi, come on, you've been crocheting for like almost 3 years. Do that slip stitch. There we go. Slip stitch, chain one, cut it off. Don't know why I keep doing these voices, I'm so sorry. And we're fastening off because we're actually done here if we're doing the rounded petals. And it'll flatten out on its own, or of course you can always iron it. I do like to use a little bit of a starch stiffening iron on mine, especially when they're cotton. And here's the one that I finished earlier. Bake off, anyone? And then flip it over. You can see there's some ends that we need to tuck in. But once we've done that, it looks like this. Now I'm going to show you how we make the pointed edges. And all it is another round. So repeat it the same way, but the center's going to be brown instead. And it's the exact same pattern. But instead of fastening off when we finish that last round, we're instead going to make our slip stitch as normal, the same way that we finished before, but instead of fastening off, we're going to continue. So, slip stitch, and this counts as a stitch this time, so add your stitch marker in. The slip stitch counts as a stitch, and it's from the previous round, but that doesn't matter. So into the next stitch, we do a single crochet, then another single crochet into the next stitch, a third single crochet into the stitch after that, then an increase, but 2 single crochets this time. So 1 and 2, chain 2, 1, 2, and into the next stitch do another single crochet increase. That's 2 single crochets into the same stitch. We then do a single crochet into the next stitch, a single crochet into the stitch after that, a single crochet into the stitch after that one, and then a slip stitch. And that makes it pointed, as you can see, compared to the round edges right here. Just to show you that one more time, we start with a slip stitch, then we do single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches, single crochet, single crochet, a single crochet increase after those 3 separate single crochets. That's 2 single crochets in the same stitch, chain 2, and then into the stitch after that we do 2 single crochets for a single crochet increase, and then 3 single crochets working down the other side of that petal. And then lastly, a slip stitch. We end each round with a slip stitch and we start each round with a slip stitch. Okay, once you've done a petal, you start the whole thing again. Then I'm just going to repeat this all the way around. I've sped it up a little bit for this one because this is getting kind of long for a video. I don't have this long of an attention span. Congratulations if you've watched this far. I've had to take a couple breaks just doing the voiceover. There we go. Repeating that all the way around. Once we've finished, we perform our final slip stitch that I'm doing here. And then I'm going to slip stitch into our first slip stitch. Bit of a paradox, isn't it? Slightly struggling with this one because of the stitch markers in the way. Then slip stitch, chain 1, and cut the yarn, fasten off, snip, pull it through, and tighten it. And that's it done. It'll look a bit crunchy again. Iron it, pull it at the ends if you want to as well, if you don't fancy ironing it. I like to see all my stitches still. Like so. Congratulations if you've made it this far. I'm very proud of you. Use your darning needle, fill in, it's like tuck in those ends. You just feed it through a couple of the stitches. I'll make a separate video on that because it's literally useful in almost every single crochet project. It'll look like this when we're finished and we've tucked everything in. Nice and neat. Very uniform. Just to show you the variety of what you can make, I also made this with the exact same yarn I used for the sunflower, and it's beautiful. Yeah, a little bobble.